Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, and today I'm going to show you on my off-grid YouTube channel how to basically how to hunt a deer. As far as it goes, I think that it's a great place to start in homesteading and off-grid living because even if you raise chickens or livestock or anything like that, eventually there's going to come a time you have to butcher something, and you can either hire someone to do it or you can do it yourself, and you're going to save a lot of money and time in the long run if you can do it yourself. So a couple things that I do when I go out and hunt a deer. First off, you want to be clean when you go out there in the woods. Some people say not to use scented soaps. They make special deer soaps, things like that. As far as it goes, what I do, I hunt out of a ground blind. Here in southern Missouri is where I'm at. And what I'll do is I'll find something that is maybe like something like this cedar right here. And I'll cut that down. And if you cut something like maybe a tree, you cut a tree down, you got a down tree, the tops and branches are all going to be on the ground and it's going to be elevated. You put some cedar trees like that across it, and if you put a chair behind that and do the same thing on the back side of you, or put some sort of camouflage on the back side of you, that's a really good start. On top of that, I like to use a little bit of doe urine. It just pretty much guarantees I'm gonna get a big buck coming through where I'm at. Helps to get rid of some of your scent as well. I think a lot of times, especially in the rut, the deer will ignore your human scent if there's a doe scent, and they'll just come from anywhere. The bucks will anyway. As far as it goes, usually it's a lot of sitting. You like to go out at, I'd say, just 10 minutes before the sun rises is pretty good time for me, my opinion. As far as it goes, you want to, when you shoot the deer, you want to try to shoot the vital organs, which is right. The lungs is the main one, and that's basically right where the rib cage is at. If you hit the rib cage, you're pretty good. It's probably going to go down. As far as it goes, you can shoot them in the intestines, in the back side of them. It'll still kill them, but it may take hours for them to bleed out, and they may run a long ways. As far as it goes, they may run 100 yards when you shoot them in the lung. So it's very important to try to get that good shot, make it humane for the animal. As far as it goes, one deer, it can probably provide, I would guess, 70 to 100 pounds of meat in my region. Up north, it could be even more than that. And that can last you a long time, especially right now with the store meat prices. A resident deer tag was $17. I've got 12 acres. If you have, I think, 20 continuous acres, you can get free landowner tags from the state, so you can literally get free meat. I mean, I guess you have to pay for the bullets and the gun at some point. So, I mean, that's one thing to consider, but in reality, with the meat prices and the way of the world today, I think that deer hunting is a good start to self-sufficiency on a homestead. It's a good practice knowing how to use your firearm. It's probably good to target shoot and sight it in a little bit beforehand. You can bow hunt too. If you don't want a gun, you could bow hunt. Bow hunting season, out where I'm at, you're pretty much guaranteed a deer because it's from September 15th all the way to January. That's a long time. The rifle season is only about, I think it's the 12th through the 22nd, and then I think they have a doe season in December for like 10 days if you're using a rifle, which is what I use, because I know with a 10-day rifle season, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get a deer out where I'm at. I like the I like the long seasons they have down here in southern Missouri. And I'm probably going to get a bow eventually. I just rifle hunt. I grew up in Illinois, and all we could use was a shotgun for gun season where I was at there, and I almost always got a deer. So you can use a slug shotgun, you can use a rifle, you can use a bow and arrow. Even here in Missouri, they have like a primitive weapon season. You can use spears and avalanches and things like that. I haven't looked into it too much, but it's kind of interesting. And as far as it goes, I think it's a good start to self-sufficiency, is being able to get a deer and butcher it. And today I'm just telling you the basics of how I got my deer this year and how I like to get a deer. So I'm going to show you my blind. We walk up the hill here, and this is the back of my property. I have about 12 acres. I bought it a couple years ago when I moved out here from Arizona. And in rifle season, you have to wear orange. Just another law, you have to wear an orange jacket, and you have to wear an orange hat out here in Missouri. It's different everywhere, but that's the rules for rifle out here in Missouri. This is my blind right here. I mean, you can see it's not much, but if you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a blind or money on a blind, this is all mine was. I just took a down branch, you know, cut one of them small cedars, threw it in there, and then I'm wearing orange, and deer actually cannot see orange. So I just have my chair out back here, and the buck that I had, if you're looking out here, he came down that way, and that's where he came out. So he came up right behind me. He didn't even care or see me, but you can see the woods are kind of dense. And the first 2 days of the season, I hunted in another blind I have up that way. It's a little different setup, but the first day I saw a buck, and it was kind of a hard shot. He was coming right where my stand's at here, and it was a long ways, and I couldn't get a good shot, but he went between two trees, and I just barely got a glimpse of his vital organs and took a shot, and I missed. And then he came back about an hour and a half later and was just out of range. I couldn't get him. I couldn't get a good shot on him. And then the next morning I went out, and oh, here's some cool yellow feathers right here. I don't know what kind of bird that's from, but they're yellow. As far as it goes, I seen about 5 deer that morning, all out of range. And because they were out of range, they were right where my blind's set up right now. I decided to set up a new blind right there that evening. And when I was setting it up down the hill here, because this is kind of down where I seen the buck, I seen that there was a buck rub right here on this branch right here. Or it's not a branch, I mean it's a tree. But that's from a deer rubbing his horns on there to get the velvet off. So I set my blind up right there. I put a little doe urine on some leaves on a tree, kind of like this. And I didn't see any deer that evening after I set up this new blind. I seen one coyote down that way, walk down the trail down there. And then after that, I didn't go out the next morning. I kind of let my scent wear out of the woods. Deer are very scent based, so you want to make sure you don't smell, you shower. I use some scent spray. You can get it at Walmart, I think $10 or something, and you know, it'll last you for years. Spray yourself down with that. So I didn't go out that morning, went out that evening, put out a little bit of doe urine, which you can buy at Walmart as well. I think it was like $6 or $7 a bottle. You don't need that, but I like to use it here because I know I'm gonna see deer when I use it. It's just something that I like using. Everyone has their own preferences. Some people like to rattle antlers. I've never rattled a buck in. I've never needed to, and I've got some pretty good bucks. Basically, that's the gist of that evening. He came down that ridge line, like I was saying. There's a little wet weather creek in there. Came along this, and I got a good shot on him and took him down. And that's how I did it. I just want to give you an idea of how you deer hunt. You know, you want to be camouflaged best you can, which the blind helps with. Deer can't see orange, like I said, so it kind of blends into the trees and everything else when you're in a blind. If you're bow hunting, you can use camouflage, so that helps. You can see my dog Bailey right there. Bailey, come on, buddy. You're the mascot for the YouTube channel. Anyway, that's the gist of how I got my buck this year. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on it, truthfully. I mean, you can get a $200 shotgun, slug shotgun, 20 gauge. It'll last you for, I mean, it could last you your whole life if you take good care of it. Slug gun, 200 bucks would be you could probably get a pretty nice one. And, you know, set up a blind like that, go in the woods, and truthfully, if you're out there 10 days in certain areas where there's a lot of deer, you're pretty much guaranteed a deer. You can save some money on meat in your freezer. And if you've never had to slaughter an animal, I think it's a good place to start is hunting and fishing, because it helps you get over that fear of having to kill an animal, basically, to butcher it. I understand some people are vegan and, you know, some people are vegetarians. I think for the off-grid lifestyle, I think humans are naturally predators. I think that we're omnivores, and truthfully, I think I like a meat-based diet better, but to each their own. You know, I'm not going to judge anyone that doesn't eat meat, and I hope that they won't judge me for getting meat the way it's supposed to be gotten, and not going to the store and just buying it off the shelf. See, the only difference, truthfully, if you're afraid to butcher your own animal or kill an animal to get meat, is when you go to the store, you don't have to see that. That's the only difference. And I believe the Bible says that God gives humans dominion over the animals. I treat the animals nice, humanely, best I can. And but I do realize that meat is one of the most complete foods, and it's something that I think people need to survive. And as far as self-sufficiency goes, for thousands of years, people have been living off of meat from the land and living off the land. And they weren't eating flour and carbs and all that stuff. So anyway, that's a little off topic on the deer hunting, but that's the gist of how I got my deer. I think it's a good start to self-sufficiency if you buy some land for hunting, or you go out into a forest and hunt. I love the outdoors. I love conservation. I love hunting and fishing, and I even do a little bit of fur trapping. As far as it goes, though, I think it's something that people are going to need to know in the future. So that's the end of my video, and I'll see you next time.